My wife left me and our kids, a kindergartner and a preschooler, 2 years ago. She wanted a different life than what we had. She bought a converted van and tried to become a van life influencer. She got some followers, but not as many as it takes to live off of it, I guess. She's in the city right now and her van needs repairs. We're in a heat wave and she needs a place to stay for a week or two. This is only the second time she's bothered to see our kids in 2 years. I've done my best to ensure they know that even though their mom is gone, it isn't because she doesn't love them. I said she was working far away. Even after the divorce, I ensured she could have all the visitation she wanted. She doesn't want to stay with her parents because they're very critical of her choice to leave. She doesn't want to stay at a hotel because it will dent her budget. I don't want her in my house because I don't want the kids to freak out when she leaves again. It's best if they see her in a neutral location. I volunteered to take her dogs so she could stay at a hostel. She said I was an idiot for not letting her stay in the house she helped pay for. I bought out her equity when we divorced. It wasn't that much. My parents said I should have just let her stay. The woman I'm seeing said she would have understood if I let her stay. I just know what it would do to my kids. So am I the idiot for taking in my ex's dogs, but not my homeless ex? Not the idiot. You're being the best parent you can. She's abandoned her children and has no right to impose on them and you. She's not there to see them. She needs a cheap place to crash. It might be traumatic for your kids to have her leave again, which isn't worth it for you or them. You bought her out, and she's used that equity to pursue her new life. She doesn't want to stay with her critical parents. Too bad. Dent her budget. Then where's the child support? Ask your mother to speak to your ex-in-laws, or your mother can offer to host her. You summed it up perfectly. She needs a cheap place to crash. She's only in the same city because her van needs repairs. It's not like she made a special trip just to see the kids. It's only about convenience and not having to spend any money, since she doesn't give a crap about her kids if she hasn't bothered to see them for 2 years. Well, if it isn't the consequences of her own actions knocking at her door. For some reason, I have exactly zero sympathy for wannabe influencers. What a shame she has the choice of staying with her parents or renting a motel room. The choice she doesn't get is squatting in your home until her van is repaired. She isn't homeless. Her home is in the shop, and she doesn't like the options her choices led her to. Don't mess with your kid's head in that way. Even if they're told she's leaving, they will hope she won't. They'll dream she won't, and then watch her leave them while she takes the dogs with her versus them. Man, that would hurt. OP, you're doing great in protecting your kids. Leaving her family aside, van life influencer sounds like one of the worst kinds of influencers, in my honest opinion. Even if I were single and for some type of crazy reason wanted to be an influencer, I cannot imagine not having decent access to a bathroom, shower, good mattress, etc. Maybe I'm old and boring at this point, but yikes. If I had to be an influencer now, no one would follow me because it would be like, so, these are my houseplants. This is my cupboard of ibuprofen. OP, protect yourself and your kids from this human leech. You're a warm and good person, and it honestly sounds like the woman you're currently seeing is as well. Don't feel you owe this chick any support or accommodation. Your responsibilities no longer include her. And it's wonderful of you to take in her dogs, and even more wonderful to deny her your place to stay. Swimming is my female 31 hobby and how I keep healthy. My favorite swimming pool is the local university pool. As a graduate, I have access, but they also have community hours when people from the town can pay and swim. It doesn't do lane swimming, but typically, everyone knows to avoid those doing laps. I was doing laps at the far end with the pool wall on my side, so I couldn't move if I wanted to. I was mid-session when 2 women my age jumped right in front of me and stood by the wall on the shallow end. I couldn't stop in time and pushed the wall between them, forcing them to move aside. I was being more careful next lap, but they just kept standing there. There was plenty of space on the other side of the pool where they could stand and chat without bothering anyone, but they chose to stand right in front of me. So I continued swimming, pushing from the wall. If they refused to move, I just turned in the water, making a big splash. I took a break to drink some water, and one of them started screaming at me about how I got her hair all wet. Told her it was her fault and continued swimming. She waited for me in the changing rooms and went on about how I was inconsiderate and ruined her hair. I told her to screw off. She started going off at me and started screaming, calling me an idiot and a witch. I grabbed my stuff and went to one of the cubicles to have a shower and change. When I was leaving, they were talking to the manager, and one of them was crying about her hair. I told my sister, and she thought I was an idiot, but I didn't think so before. Now with my sister agreeing, I worry that I might have been. Am I the idiot? Edit. Just to add, I was the only person there when they came in. They had the whole pool to stand in. They chose to purposefully stand in front of me without swimming at all. Not the idiot at all. You're in a pool and complaining about your hair getting wet? If you ever see them again, I'd practice your cannonball entry form into the pool. Imagine being upset because your hair got wet in a swimming pool. If she didn't want wet hair, she should wear a swimming cap or find a different form of exercise or chatting place. You were already there. Those two had all the pool space, but chose to stand there and get mad at you for something they could have avoided in multiple ways. Everyone's the idiot here. You missed the using your words to ask step before you decided to passive-aggressively splash them. They were being inconsiderate idiots, but you escalated beyond what was necessary. If stopping for 2 minutes to politely ask them to move somewhere else would have made you lose your focus, then you shouldn't be doing your workout during community hours. Or you could have just started swimming away from them if the pool was empty except for you three. So it seems the only reason you didn't move was because they also could move, and they didn't? That seems like a childish reason. It doesn't do lane swimming, but typically everyone knows to avoid those doing laps. To what degree is this an unspoken courtesy that regulars simply concede to versus what, if any, posted regulations are there on the wall of the pool? I've never been to a pool with public access that didn't have rules on the wall. You are the idiot. I'm also a swimmer, but unless a pool has dedicated lap swimming, you aren't entitled to an entire pool length. My husband and I and his parents live on their farm. We renovated it to make it a hobby farm again. There are 3 pastures. 2 my husband uses, and the 3rd we were repairing to use it. My in-laws were aware of this. During our repairs, one of the neighbors asked my in-laws about renting out the pasture because they had too many heads for the land they already had. My in-laws agreed because it was the right thing to do, according to their faith, and it'd generate a bit more income for them before they moved. My husband and I weren't happy about it, but stuck a pin in our plans to see how things played out until the end of the lease, to see if something could be worked out to accommodate everyone. We're now 3 months into this agreement, and it's been a nightmare. The path to the pasture goes right by our house, since it's close to it. They've complained about my smoking the good stuff on my porch, no matter when I go out to smoke. They complain that I play music they don't want their kids to hear. They complain that we use our fire pit, which is about 50 yards from the pasture. I reached the ends of my patience yesterday. I walk around our house nude when I'm getting ready in the mornings or after a shower. My in-laws' house isn't anywhere in sight, and we're tucked off the road going through the farm, so our curtains are always open. If I see the renter's truck going over before I shower, I either close the curtains or just get dressed. No one was at the pasture yesterday when I took my shower, and I didn't see the truck after, so I just walked around the house for a while. After about 25 minutes, there was a knock at the door. It was the neighbors. They complained that I needed to be more considerate and act decent by putting clothes on, because I should be well aware that they bring their kids with them to take care of the cattle, and they don't want their kids to see that. Then they started about how they're paying good money to use the pasture and paid out of pocket to make it usable. I stopped them there and told them they didn't do all the work to make it usable. It was already halfway done because of my husband and me. I also told them, paraphrasing here, you don't own the farm. You're only renting one pasture, so you have no right to tell me what to do in and around my house. Don't want to accidentally see something? Stop looking at our windows. If you want any chance of having your lease renewed after my husband takes over, you should stop acting so self-important. Act like the people of faith you claim to be, and be nicer to me. They told my in-laws about it, who took it to my husband. He's fine with what I said, as he's had his own issues with them. But we're wondering if we should apologize to in-laws and the neighbors to keep the peace if I handled it wrong. We'd like some outside views. So, am I the idiot? Edit. We moved here to help them repair the farm, since they couldn't take care of it anymore, and he'll be inheriting it in the next couple of years when they move to live with my brother-in-law. Act like the people of faith you claim to be? I love this. They're just mad that they got called out on their BS. Not the idiot. It doesn't matter who owns what. You can be naked in your own house, and you can smoke crap if it's legal in your state. And even if it's not, still kind of a gray area. And I've never known a farm that doesn't have a burn pit, the occasional bonfire, even a wood grill, stove, fireplace, or something that otherwise makes smoke. I mean, smoke kind of goes with a farm. LOL, what nerve. They're leasing a pasture and want input into what happens around it? That's when you bring out the thong bikini and lay out, with a pitcher of wine, music blasting, and roaches nearby. Frankly, your in-laws are low-key the biggest idiots here for agreeing to a high-commitment rental with the neighbors, knowing full well that they're handing the property off to y'all soon. OP probably is not the idiot here, but OP also should be careful. Sure, it seems to me OP is assuming an awful lot, and if the in-laws don't agree, she and her hubby might find themselves the odd ones out in the relationship, especially as the in-laws are people of faith who almost certainly wouldn't appreciate OP smoking, drinking, walking around nude, and listening to what I assume is pretty loud and aggressive music to have the neighbors complain about it. All four of those things are something that people of faith might have some serious problems with, and OP should be careful in what assumptions she makes and what statements she utters. In-laws might say, when your husband owns it, huh? Yeah, that's not going to happen as long as you're still married to him. I, 24 female, am one of 4 kids. My siblings are Dylan, 32 male, Evie, 29 female, and Hannah, 27 female. This post is about Hannah. I'm the first of us to have children, and Hannah, while not a mom, is obsessed with names. She's joined forums to advise on naming kids. Anyone asks her opinion on a name, and she goes into overdrive, and depending on the name, will insult the name, the person who has that name or likes the name, and imply that the name should be criminal. Or she'll tell the person how amazing it is, and it'll set the child up for success and be praised by everyone they ever meet. I'm not sure she has a middle ground. Once Hannah learned I was pregnant, she asked my husband and me about names we liked and whether we wanted her help. I said a very firm no and told her no name would be shared until the baby was born and the name was official. Hannah suggested very strongly that this would be a terrible idea. I told her that we didn't want people interjecting and interfering with the name choice. The name my husband and I chose for our daughter is a name Hannah insulted heavily on more than one occasion. The name is Lyra. Dylan's girlfriend mentioned how sweet she thought the name was and how it reminded her of the character Lyra from his Dark Materials. My sister told Dylan's girlfriend that she should learn the proper naming procedure and had to be shut down by Dylan because she was going overboard. Dylan's girlfriend isn't even pregnant, and there's been zero talk of kids so far, so Hannah was way over the top. Hannah pressured me to find more info on the name. She pestered me nonstop and accused me of picking a name that would set my child up for a lifetime of shame. I told her she was too extreme, and she responded that I could tell her the name and let her decide for herself. I told her to drop it, and if she keeps on pushing or if she tries to find out the name in other ways, She can forget about being invited to my baby shower, and she can forget about being invited to meet the baby without a very sincere apology, and I'll need proof of her understanding. My husband and I decided to set up a fake name for her to find out if she did go snooping, and sure enough, she did. She went ballistic over the name choice, and I told her she had done what I told her not to do and that she was warned. My sister said not inviting her would be an idiot move. My parents also think I should still invite her and that I'm blowing this out of proportion. They say a fight over a name is not a good reason to exclude a family member. Does anyone know why she's so psychotic about this? Like, good God, maybe she hates her name. Your family's doing your sister a disservice by not acknowledging that your sister has a problem. Not the idiot, and they wouldn't invite her either. She's unhinged. You've picked a beautiful name for your daughter. I wouldn't want Hannah anywhere near me after this. It's one thing for her to give advice about naming a child, but quite another to lose her crap like this over something that's not her business at all. Parents enable Hannah and are in deep denial about how unhealthy her behavior is, because this isn't just a fight over names. The issue is her entitlement, lack of respect for people, and an extreme need for control. This is an obsession, and Hannah needs help to deal with that. Until she seeks that help, you're well within your rights to not only follow through with not inviting her to the baby shower, but also generally go low or no contact with her. My female 29, stepdaughter teen, came out to me about 2 months ago. She told me I was the first to know and didn't want her parents to know yet. I respected that and kept quiet. Last week, she set her father down and came out to him. He asked her if her mom knew, and she replied that she had told her mom the weekend before and me 2 months ago. When she said that, he looked at me but didn't say anything. When we went to bed, he immediately said, I can't believe you didn't tell me. So I asked him what he was talking about. He said, I can't believe you didn't tell me about my daughter earlier. I told him that it wasn't my place to tell him about it, and that his daughter deserved to come out on her own terms. He said that didn't matter. He was her father and needed to know those things. I told him that I had just respected his daughter's wishes and that I'd do it again. After I said that, he turned around and stopped talking to me. The morning after, he took off for work without addressing me. He's still not talking to me as much, and the few times he does, he's cold. I thought I did the right thing, but now I don't know. Maybe my husband's right, and I should have told him. Not the idiot. Your husband is not right. There are good reasons why your stepdaughter didn't choose to come out to him until she had secured the support of yourself and her mother. Your husband will come around or die mad, leaving him to sulk until he grows up. You did the right thing. OP doesn't mention her husband's age. She's only 14 years older than her stepdaughter. I'm guessing her husband thought he was getting a younger, more pliable model. Hubby is angry and put out that his shiny new toy has a spine and stands up to him. Also, holy crap, you never out a person. She was 100% correct to keep that info to herself. OP, you sit your husband down and make it clear that outing someone is never okay and that you're angry that he doesn't respect that. Tell him the silent treatment is unacceptable and to act like a darn grown-up. You did the right thing. Your husband is the idiot for giving you the silent treatment. He's doing that because he wants you to beg him for forgiveness. Don't. You did nothing wrong.